Thank you so much. Okay, well, there's new proof that choosing your own super fund could definitely be worth it, with figures showing more than half of default options available delivered a negative return for members over the past 5 years. The new study revealed 6 million workers would have been financially better off if they'd opted for their own super fund. More than 60% of Australians use their employer's default instead of finding their own option. That data comes from Selecting Super, a service group of Rainmaker. So no surprise, people are increasingly keen to take on that responsibility for their own retirement savings, particularly those nearing retirement or those people who are already retired. So here to tell us why is Andrea Slattery from the SPAA, or the SPA. Andrea, great to have you tonight. Now, if you look at the stats,
thank you very much.
In terms of the report we just mentioned there, the super funds haven't done much with our cash over the past 5 years. But let's be fair, because investment markets have also been pretty sluggish, to say the least, Andrea.
Yes, they have. And I think the point that the article is trying to raise is that if you are engaged, or if you know where your money is going, you see it's 9 cents in every dollar of your own hard-earned money. If you know where that's going, you should actually be interested in making a decision about where it goes. Whether or not it goes in the default fund, which your employer may choose, or you may choose as a default fund yourself, those stats aren't really well known. But if you are engaged and become more interested in where your money is going, your super contributions, and they're compulsory ones, as I said, at 9 cents in the dollar, or the voluntary ones, then you can make a decision about where you would like to have your savings and your future retirement income from.
Okay, what about the industry's mantra that past performance is no guide to future performance? Does that prove true? Is it not worth comparing funds according to their long-term returns? I did see someone say this morning it's like footy teams. If you're consistently down at the bottom of the league table, then you're probably not going to come back and win the championship next year.
Well, it's an interesting concept, but I think superannuation is a long-term vehicle. It's a long-term savings vehicle. If you're in your 20s or 30s, you've got, long time, 20 to 40 years before you're going to be able to access it, depending on whether you're 65 or older at the moment. So it is a long-term investment, and I think looking at past returns is one aspect of the information that you should pull together to help in understanding what you're doing. There are a number of sectors within the superannuation industry as well. So you have at one end the industry funds, and in the middle the retail and the corporate and the public sector funds, and then at the other end you've got the self-managed super. Now everybody in the self-managed super sector is engaged. You have to be engaged to sign the documents to set yourself up, to put your money away into that environment. And I think this is actually a question to everybody. If you're losing 9 cents in every of your dollar in your pay packet, you should find out where that is, where it's going and what it's doing, and that may require that you need some advice. So perhaps specialist advice if you're involved in an SMSF or in a fund where you need some support on understanding, and just generally information to find out what you're doing. It's really important to get engaged and really important to understand every option that's available, and to get the information, not only past performance, but actually look at other issues as well.
Now, the Cooper review into superannuation found that the SMSF sector is the best performing of all the super sectors. So I guess that's proof that it does work if you know what you're doing. You just suggested there that it's all about engagement and seeking advice and understanding where 10% of your money is going. Is that why these self-managed super funds do better, because people are engaged with them?
Well, it is one of the aspects of why they're actually performing better. There are a number of aspects of why the SMSF sector is performing better, and it's just one of the opportunities for people to find out about. Not everybody can get into an SMSF or should have an SMSF, and I think that's the other part of it. You can do well in an APRA regulated fund as well, and you need to understand what environment that you're in and get the information, get the advice, and particularly if you're able and interested in going into the SMSF sector, then particularly get an SMSF specialist advisor, and the SPA advisors are those ones that are trained at undergraduate level.
Andrea, what are the most popular things people invest in with their self-managed super?
Well, the majority of funds are actually invested in equities and direct property or other property, and you can actually invest in other alternates and the cash or near cash. So it is a broad brush. You can have the opportunity of investing however you want so long as you meet the rules, and that's part of the beauty of an SMSF. There are very many opportunities to invest in very many different areas. All you've got to do is understand the rules and meet the rules, and that helps you to become engaged. It usually helps you to find a good outsourced specialist to help you to understand and make decisions, and those decisions are usually made for your benefit, for your future, both savings and retirement. And it's often been said that this sector is good because it is a sector where you are looking after your money based on the rules, and if you abide by the rules and get specialist advice, you are doing quite well.
Yeah, but Andrea, we have seen the rules change over time, both in the self-managed super space in terms of what you're allowed to invest in, and now we're hearing that potentially even the taxation treatment could change of superannuation. I mean, it's not a constant, is it?
No, it hasn't been, and that's one of the problems. This government and the opposition must, I believe, have a bilateral and unified voice about superannuation. It is the future savings vehicle. It is the vehicle which has been set aside compulsorily in this instance with 9 to 12% in superannuation guarantee for Australians to save for their future retirement so that they can be relieved of relying on the age pension and have a dignified retirement. Now, we need everybody to commit to that, and we can't look at short-term fiscal issues and fill a hole where people don't believe that superannuation is important. It is very important, and we need everybody to commit to it. After all, every Australian at the moment that is working is actually contributing to that. And so we need every Australian to encourage the government and the opposition in a bipartisan arrangement to commit to that superannuation system and commit to it without tinkering around with it.
Yes, certainty seems to be the issue going forward. Andrea Slattery, thanks so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Andrea, in